listening to Reality Wrap. I'm your host, Melanie. Thanks for listening and enjoy the show. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to Reality Wrap. How are you doing today, Mr. Sean?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing today?
What was that?
I don't know.
You sounded like Beaker from the Muppets.
Maybe.
Now you sound like, who's got a really deep voice?
I have no idea.
My brain is like not working.
No.
I've been sick since yesterday, you guys. I got taken out by some bug. I'm on the mend though.
Yep. Worst patient ever.
I am the worst patient ever.
Oh, the worst.
I am super type A, and so I literally, for 24 hours, was just like laying on a couch, which is, my back was like, bitch, get up. I don't like this at all.
3 or 4 hours, you'd spiral off the couch.
I would.
Activity, and then spiral back onto the couch.
Yeah, I am a bad patient. I'll be the first one to admit it. I am not made for being sick and laying on a couch at all.
Nothing a good pair of headphones won't fix. For the rest of us.
Anyway, today we are going to be recapping The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Season 14, Episode 4. I apologize for any weird noises you hear in the background. We literally have every animal we own in this room.
Odin lost his ball.
Yeah, and Odin's ball has rolled under a chair, and he's trying to fit under said chair, and he is way too big.
And if you're wondering, why don't they just get them the ball? We did. He lost it again.
Yeah.
We're done.
We would literally be doing it every 5 seconds.
There'd be no show.
No. So I did a poll on Instagram on one of my stories today. Actually, it was last night when I was laying on the couch trying to fall asleep. So my poll was, you're driving from Beverly Hills to Oceanside. Who do you want as your road trip buddy? Your options were Dorit, Kyle, Garcelle, or Erika. 14% so far have said Dorit, 4% have said Kyle, 32% have said Garcelle, and 50% have said Erika. So I ask you, Sean, who would you want as your road trip buddy?
Kathy Hilton.
Well,
Monster.
She's not an option.
Well, I'm going to pencil her in.
Okay, no, out of those 4, Dorit, Kyle, Garcelle, or Erika.
There's no option to pencil in Monster.
No, and it would only let me put in 4. I did want to put everybody in, but it wouldn't let me do that, so I picked those 4.
I'm honestly...
Okay, we'll let you pencil in Kathy Hilton.
Thank you.
I'm going to say I'm on the Erika train as well. I feel like we could get into some trouble, and then if we got into said trouble, Erika would know somebody to call to get us out of said trouble. Like, she would have a fixer.
For a road trip?
Yes.
I think it'd be Garcelle. If I couldn't have Kathy.
Really?
Yeah, Garcelle's the most interesting conversation. For sure.
Interesting.
Are you kidding me? Yeah.
No, I'm not.
She's extremely successful.
I did not think you would say that.
She's highly intelligent. Yeah, oh yeah. Now that.
Over Erika?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I feel like Dorit would talk too much about like nonsensical things.
Again, headphones for me.
Yeah. Kyle, I just can't stand, so she wouldn't even be an option for me.
I feel that Kyle and I would sit quietly for the whole trip and not say anything and just look out the other window and not get to know each other. And then, other than when I dropped her off and she finally said, okay, well, thanks, and then got out of my car. And left. That'd be the Kyle trip. And
she'd be like, what an awkward trip.
I know. I feel so insane.
I feel so offended. That was an awkward trip.
No.
So
Garcelle.
I guess Lisa Vanderpump went on some show. I don't know. I forgot what it was called. Sorry to whoever put it out, but I forgot. And they asked her about what her thoughts were on Beverly Hills. And so I am going to play you guys that clip.
I haven't watched that show since I left. I've seen the odd excerpt, like on Twitter or something like that. But I haven't actually watched the show, so forgive me if I have not a clue what's going on.
Okay.
I know Dorit and Kyle are arguing, fighting.
That's what we were going to ask you about.
I can't say. I mean,
okay,
perfect.
Are you surprised by it?
No, it always kind of goes full circle, doesn't it, right? What are they arguing about, though?
Just not being good friends, basically.
Oh, well, Kyle was a terrible friend to me. There you have it.
Well, we did see that you recently saw her, and it was allegedly a good run-in. But what is your take on that, then?
I think when people talk about the opposite of love, and they say it's hate and it's not, it's kind of indifference. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I'm just like, hey, hi. Yeah. How are you? I don't feel any kind of, when somebody, it needs to start with an apology to ever reconcile, because you can't kind of ever pick up a friendship and somebody's calling you a liar and screaming. That doesn't work for me. at all.
How much of it do you think is for the cameras, the press, and all of that versus real?
Well, I don't know what's happening in the show now, but I think a lot of what she's done in the past is for the cameras, my opinion.
Yeah.
So I thought it was interesting how she said that when they asked her if she would reconcile with Kyle, how she said, well, they always say that the opposite of love is hate, but it's actually indifference. And if I saw her, I would say hi, but I'd be indifferent about it. And I was like, oh, damn. She has no interest.
No, I think she has her own life. And I disagree. The opposite of love is still hate. It's not indifference. Indifference is kind of in the middle. Right, if you're looking at kind of the line of between love, because love and hate are polar opposites. Indifference is not a polar opposite because you're still willing to talk to the person.
Indifference is not an emotion,
If
whereas
you're
love or
indifferent
hate
to
is an
someone
emotion.
and that person is sinking in quicksand, you go get them a branch. If you hate someone and that person's in quicksand, you're gonna walk away.
I would probably still get them a branch.
Then you don't hate them, right?
Well, no, I just don't want to see somebody die. Unless they were
that's
such...
just it. I don't have the capacity to hate someone either. That's craziness. I think she makes an interesting point, but I think, that's really what it was. I don't think it was like correct. I don't think she's going to start some new trend.
Yeah. I also thought it was kind of funny how she said that Kyle was a bad friend to her and that everything she's done in the past when she was on the show, Kyle did for the camera.
The problem with that is we've just seen too much of Vanderpump. They're both bad friends to each other, right? Neither one of them were very good friends. Kyle, for years, followed Vanderpump around like a puppy dog.
She did.
And there was nothing Vanderpump could do wrong. And then Kyle got tired of it. And then it looks like Kyle did the same thing to Dorit.
Well, but except for I think
it does go full circle.
Kyle and Lisa Vanderpump were actually real friends. I think Dorit thought she and Kyle were actually real friends. But at the end of the day, they weren't. I mean, we joked about it before how Dorit thought that going on a cast trip was them going on trips together as friends.
Here's where Kyle is wrong, in that they are in fact friends. Because in one of the funniest moments in the entire episode, you see Marisa, Mo, and Puquet arm in arm waving to the photo. And best of friends, great environment, smiles. They're young. They look like they've lost 10 pounds each. They were friends, right?
PK has lost more than 10 pounds, but he's definitely on the Ozempic train. Or whatever, semi-glutate.
But like I said before, I think those two talked before they were going to get their divorce, and they're using each other as the courage to go through this, 100%.
Well, Kyle was the one who initiated the separation with Marissimo, and I think Puquet, saw what a great time Mo was having out there with all those young ladies, and he was all like, all right, I'm getting on that train.
Done and done.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He was like, I want to get on
Puquet was the one who initiated the separation for him and Dorit.
He did.
This episode starts, we're still in the argument between Kyle and Dorit. Dorit tells Kyle that she expects blind loyalty to her. Dorit tells Kyle that she has periodically iced her out throughout their whole friendship when Dorit would make a silly comment about her. Case in point, when Dorit joked about Kyle's fashion show and that she didn't know how to do one, Kyle's like, yeah, I was starting a new business. That I would never have done that to you or one of your businesses. Dorit's like, yeah, no. Remember my Buco de Pepo, what was the room called? I forgot what the room was called.
Yeah, I remember that.
We see, thank you, editors, flashbacks of her making fun of...
Yeah, no, the editors
Dorit's,
really have...
Buco de Pepo room. So
yeah, exactly.
I was like, thank God Dorit is just like, oh, no.
No, Dorit's calling it out. She's going crazy this year. I will say this too. I know we didn't touch it earlier. This episode was better than last week for sure.
Yeah, but I'll be honest with you, I'm still enjoying Salt Lake City better. We're on like a slow roll this season. I'm like, all right, ladies.
Compared to Salt Lake.
Oh yeah, like Salt Lake just shot out of a cannon right from episode 1. It's just still going. Kyle tells Dorit that she's been a good friend to her and that she's been going through a hard time for the last 2 years with her separation and then losing her friend. Obviously, Kyle didn't hear what Dorit said about her icing her out since they became friends, not just the last 2 years. Dorit's like, well, that's why I've been giving you grace for the last 2 years, because I knew you were going through hard times. So I just kind of took it from you. But now she's gone too far. You can only take so much.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of diminishing returns. And when she heard Kyle say that they were never friends publicly like that.
I think Dorit was like, oh, okay.
That was it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I agree. Dorit points out that Kyle didn't get mad at Erika for what she said about the text when Dorit showed Erika the text before the reunion. And Erika said, yeah, if that was sent to me, I would feel like it was manipulative.
Let me ask a question.
Yes.
Has Kyle given the heartfelt apology for saying that publicly, that they weren't close friends? I'm sorry for saying that. And I'm sorry for how it made you feel.
She's given the I'm sorry, but that was just a line.
That's not what I'm talking about.
I agree. But you asked.
Has she at least isolated that event and said, I am sorry for whatever that event was, whatever caused it and whatever preceded it or went after?
Well, she did apologize. I think it was was it maybe last episode?
Was it? Okay.
I don't remember, but she did, but it was I'm sorry, but that was just one thing of 10 things.
That's not really an apology, though,
agree.
right? That's continuing an argument.
Right. I agree. Yeah, so she's like, you didn't get mad at Erika for what she said. You also didn't get mad at Erika when she said she expects Andy to hold everybody to the same ringer that she held her to. And that if Dorit had said that, she would have been mad at her. Erika pipes in at this point because how many times has she been referenced in this conversation?
Dude, Erika's footnotes at every page. She's got like 3 or 4 crazy.
So she's like, I did explain to her, Andy eviscerated me, so I just wanted to make sure that he treats everybody the same. It wasn't so much, as she said this on the after show, it wasn't so much that I was going after Kyle, I was going after Andy because he was like coming after me and letting me get, held to the fire. I wanted everybody to get the same treatment. And since Kyle's story was what was last season, she was like, I hope you do the same to her. Not necessarily she's going against Kyle.
Right. What's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Right. But yeah, so Dorit's like, yeah, had that been me, you would have been mad at me. And she would have. Bose tells us in her talking head that these women are not direct and that she needs to figure out exactly what's going on with these stories. And I'm like, Bose, it is not even worth it trying to figure out these ladies because it is years
Bose is super smart, though. Like the way she was talking about the layers, like she's very much a people watcher. She's
in the after show, she makes a good point. She says that seeing everything that's going on in this group, that she knows her time is coming. And
they're all
she's ready for it. And I was like, oh, I believe it.
She's going to take a shoe off and start hitting other girls.
I think she'll verbally eviscerate somebody. I almost wonder if people would be too intimidated.
I think the one that is smart enough not to go after her is Erika. Because Erika is very good with her words.
Well, Erika's pretty smart, too.
Right, but Erika also knows.
It'll be Sutton.
Yeah, Sutton's not. Sutton will just kind of wander in angry. Yeah, I'm here to help you. And then she'll, burn down the curtains or something. Yeah.
Sutton finally decides to join the season and pipes up and says that she has also experienced Kyle not talking to her for months and that she actually told Kyle that this is something that she needs to work on and that Kyle agreed with her. Kyle does finally give Dorit an apology, probably because Sutton just kind of pointed out the same exact thing that Dorit has been talking about, how she ices people out. So really at that point, she had no out, right? It wasn't just Dorit saying it, now Sutton was saying it. Yeah. Dorit does apologize to Kyle for the BravoCon thing, and she was like, I'm really sorry it hurt you. And Kyle's like, your apology is not genuine. I was like, wait, what?
More genuine than any apology that Kyle did or didn't give.
Oh, yeah, I agree. Dorit's like, when you tell me that I have said something that's hurt you, I have always said, I'm sorry for hurting you. And for whatever reason, at this point, Garcelle decides, I'm going to say something now.
Garcelle,
while Dorit is saying this, she mumbles no to Dorit. And Dorit's like, what did you just say? Yeah. And she's like, you can never just say, I'm sorry. Which I agree. Dorit, we did see it last season. She goes on like this
I was with Garcelle right here. I was still with Garcelle.
And Dorit's like, well, I'm not surprised that you would say that. I'm not your favorite person. I wouldn't expect you to agree with that. And then Garcelle's like, great, we're on the same page. And I was like, what exactly did she think Dorit was going to say and respond to when...
It was a bad look for Garcelle.
It was. I was like, and she does not like Dorit.
No, and she was sitting there at the table. I think Dorit was holding her own. That did not sit well with Garcelle.
No.
So Garcelle went poke, and she basically injected herself into the conversation.
Well, the conversation had nothing to do with her. Erika got involved because Erika kept getting referenced, right? Sutton got involved because she had experienced Kyle ignoring her and icing her out for months. Kyle has the nerve to tell us in her talking head that Dorit came to dinner tonight looking for a fight. And I was like, wait a minute. You gave a toast to Kathy for setting up this nice thing, right. Then turned to Dorit and said, we still need to talk at the table in front of everybody. And I'm like, she didn't come looking for a fight. You brought it up. So yeah, she was like, oh, okay, well then let's go ahead and fight. You're bringing it up. Why didn't she say we need to talk privately and go talk privately without the rest of the group there?
Kyle seems to have the memory of a goldfish right now, because after about 20 seconds of what she said or saw or did.
It's part of her victim mentality. Oh, she came for a fight. And I was like, you started it.
Well,
but
and that's
she's
just
always the victim.
She's so good at deflecting, right?
She is and she isn't.
No. Okay, you shouldn't say she's good at it.
Yeah,
she's
she does deflect.
Comfortable deflecting. That's all she does, right?
Yeah.
She's not very good at it,
No.
She's having a terrible season.
She is, and I'm living for it. The next morning when they're all getting ready to go on the boat, Erika and Dorit are talking, and Erika tells her that she's worried about her headspace because of everything that's going on with Puquet, and that she thinks that Dorit might be lashing out because she is scared. And Dorit's like, yeah, no, I put my foot down with Puquet, and I'm going to do the same thing with Kyle. She's had enough.
She's
like,
had a buck's
I'm done.
worth.
Anybody who pisses me off.
Yeah. She's got no to give.
So they all get into their little golf carts and to go to the yacht, and Bose and Garcelle are riding together, and Bose asks if Garcelle's ever been on a boat before with these ladies, and Garcelle says, oh yes, I have, when Erika was trying to figure out her balance of pills and alcohol. And I was like, wow, Garcelle really has a lot to say about everybody, and I hope Bose took note on that. I'm sure she did.
Yeah, I'm sure Bose walked away going, okay, cannot tell Garcelle anything.
They arrive to the yacht, and they're greeted by Captain Theo, who has Sutton swooning, and I was like, wow, Sutton really has a thing for guys in transportation. She made out with her Uber driver, and now she has a thing for this boat captain. So while they're sitting down and eating, Sutton asks them how they're all feeling after last night, and Dorit's like, I feel like I'm in a better place since I got everything off my chest. I was really deep down hurt because I love Kyle. And Kyle's like, I really appreciate that. And she tells her, both of us are going through so much. We really don't need to be thinking about this kind of stuff. We should be focusing our energy on what's going on in our marriage.
And then the greatest thing in the world happens.
I know. Dorit's like, what the irony of it is that PK and Mo are closer than ever because now they can go out and get some young ass. I'm just kidding. She didn't say that, but
that was written all over their faces.
Yeah.
Out getting ass.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Oh my God. Those two boys, they're absolutely sowing oats right now. You can see it in their face.
A couple of weeks ago, there was a clip floating around of the both of them at somebody's
They're traveling together.
Launch party for another show. I can't remember if it was Summer House or something like that. And they were like,
and that's where
ridiculous.
I think Dorit really does have a point with Kyle's comment, where clearly the four of them were friends, right? Clearly two of them are still vacationing together.
Mo and PK apparently were. Yeah,
I
don't know.
I think that's where.
And PK and Kyle are friends, so.
Yeah, PK and Kyle are friends.
Yeah.
So I think Kyle, she can be very vindictive. She can be petty. Mm-hmm. And that's what she was being. And it's not working out for her. The thing is if Kyle would just stop that, she really is cool. I don't
think she can stop that. Mm-hmm. She uses a lot of people if you really think about it.
But if she would just stop using people.
Look what she did to Anne-Marie. She literally brought her in, got Anne-Marie to say a bunch of bullshit about Sutton, then was like, I don't know what she's talking about.
But if she would just stop using people, be more loyal, honest, and that, she'd be a really cool person.
Yeah, maybe. So they both apologize again. It seems like they're moving forward for now. We'll see how it goes. Sutton and Dorit are talking, and Sutton tells Dorit that she wants her to know that she can lean on Sutton while she's going through everything with Puquet. And I found this whole scene kind of funny, considering how when Dorit made the announcement, nobody said anything to her. And now all of a sudden, Sutton's had this change of heart. And she's like, oh, you can lean on me. I've been through this.
I have a 3-word explanation.
What?
Cameras are rolling.
Well, the cameras were rolling when when she released the statement.
Really?
Yeah, don't you remember all of them looking and being like, oh, and then Erika and her actually filmed a scene about it?
I thought that was the beginning of the season. So I thought that was just one of those things where they just did a quick film of them reacting.
I don't know exactly when they started filming in relation to when it was released.
I'll bet you a nickel that's what that was. They were quick little cameos. Hey, we're going to stop by, read the text, give us a quick intro for, a soundbite for the opening show.
What's funny, too, is that remember when Dorit was held up at gunpoint, and when Sutton came over that afternoon to talk to Kyle, like they had just found out about it, and Kyle was like upset and crying. She was like, oh my God, can you believe what's going on with Dorit? And Sutton's like, yeah, I know. I had a really hard day too. And then she said, I've been trying to get my French designer here and I'm having a problem with immigration. And Kyle's like, that's not even the same thing. It's not even the same ballpark. One person was held up at gunpoint with her children at home, and you're worried about...
Mildly inconvenienced.
Right. Yeah. So, I don't know. I'm kind of like, Sutton, you're all over the place. Yeah. On the front of the boat, Garcelle and Kyle are talking about what's next for them as women because their identities have been wrapped up with being moms. And Kyle's like, mine was wrapped up with being a mom and a wife. And Kyle tells us in her talking head that the idea of being alone when she is old scares her, that she always thought she would be with her partner and traveling, which I'm kind of like, none of this makes sense because Kyle was the one who initiated the separation. And the only reason I could think that she initiated this separation was because Mauricio stepped out on her. We've always kind of heard the rumors. Maybe he was like, I'm not going to do it again. And then he did it again. I don't know. And she just couldn't look away anymore because she seems like she still wants to be with him.
That's why I don't know what it is. I think if it was so bad as him stepping out on her.
I think he has multiple times. And maybe it just got to the point now where she was like.
I think he has too. I'm with you. But
yeah. Well, there's been all kinds of things in the.
That was post though, I thought. I thought that was after they separated.
No, there was stuff like back when Brandi Glanville brought the tabloids up. She says that Lisa Vanderpump put them in her bag and told her to bring them up. But it was like photos of Mauricio with women or something like that.
I believe both are true.
Yeah.
I heard that, Lisa? I believe it.
Yeah. I definitely think she would still be with Mo if Mo hadn't stepped out on their marriage. Or I'm assuming that's what
I think, well, you're assuming that Mo would still be with her. I think eventually Mo would have asked for a divorce.
Could be. I don't think Kyle's going to have a hard time finding somebody else when she's ready to, or her thing with Morgan burns out. Morgan's so young compared to Kyle. I just don't foresee how that's going to work out. I don't even know if they're together. Somebody said, I don't know.
I think Morgan will be a very important person in her life for probably the rest of her life, but I don't know that they're soulmates.
Supposedly, Morgan, Kyle, and Lisa Rinna were all together just like last week.
Dirty?
No, not dirty. Just like out and about. So okay. I don't know. Garcelle brings up how it's weird that PK and Mo are closer than ever now.
I think it's amazing.
And Dorit and Kyle are not. And then Kyle's like, yeah, well, PK has reached out to me. And Garcelle's like, wow. And I'm like, it's not that big of a deal. They were all kind of friends. And no way in any form do I think those two have a thing going on. I think they're just talking.
PK and Kyle?
Yeah, no. I think Kyle talks to PK because PK talks to Mo. So they're all kind of like...
She's
they all
checking in on Mo through PK, yeah.
Could be, yeah. It's inappropriate because Dorit is her friend, or who knows if they're actually friends.
It's inappropriate because Kyle and PK are conversing with each other.
I'm sure they talk about
Kyle
Dorit.
Said we're not really friends.
Yeah, and I'm sure she knew about.
So what that would tell Dorit is, so you're friends with my husband, soon to be ex-husband, but not me.
Kyle probably knew that PK was leaving Dorit before Dorit knew.
Oh, yeah.
We learn a little bit more about Bose. She tells us that after her husband died, that dating has been really hard for her and that she thinks that some men are intimidated by her success, which I could totally see.
I could see that, too. A lot of guys don't like that. But I also was wondering, which is so weak. Like, don't be like that, guys. Because she's going to pay for dinner now. The other thing, too, is I can tell you this. If she's a true executive, vice president, senior vice president, she didn't have but 2 hours a week that are for her. Right? Everything else is given to...
Well, she doesn't work for corporate anymore. Now she works for herself, right?
So now that she works for herself, do you really think that she's any different, though. I don't. I think the same tactics and the same ethic and passion she had is poured into her private thing, and that means no time, right? And her kids are older now too, right?
Her daughter's like 15.
Yeah. See, daughter doesn't need you as much
probably
anymore.
Her extra time goes to her daughter.
Right. I think men are intimidated by women like Bose. To be clear, ladies, I am not. But I
am not like Bose.
I know.
You sound so disappointed.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, that was a total awkward laugh. Anyway, she tells us that the man she was dating before, her current boyfriend, was still sleeping with his ex. And she flat out asked him, "Are you still sleeping with your ex?" And he was like, "Yeah." And then Jennifer Tilly talks about some guy she dated who said he was like this entrepreneur and all this stuff, but then they would go out to dinner and she would have to sneak her credit card under the table.
She has funny stories like that. It's like the second or third time now.
I know.
She's kind of like Rose from... what's the Golden Girls? She has these funny stories. Random stories she peeps up with.
Yeah.
I'm really starting to like her.
It's time to get off the boat, and Kathy tells the captain to help Sutton off of the boat. She's going to need help, or that's a thing they do. I don't know. So he carries her off the boat. And I think Dorit even asked him if he was single and tried to give him or get his phone number for Sutton, didn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
At dinner, Kyle asks Kathy if she sends nude pictures to Rick. And Kathy's like, "No, but I do have a couple of pictures in our bank vault." I was like, why? Why are they in your bank vault?
Stay. I don't know. Monster's crazy, man. I'm telling you. I like that one scene where Kyle's talking about Kathy and they're in different cars. And she's just talking about how nuts Kathy is. And then it pans over to Kathy and she's just, "Oh, hello." Just says hello to some random person. I mean,
in the little
when they all got
carts.
the rental carts, yeah.
And she's really leaning into that bucket hat. I think she's had that thing on.
She's leaning into the bucket hat. I'm telling you, she's showing us a different side. I think she's quite the character.
She's always been kind of quirky.
Yeah, I love Kathy.
So while they're eating, Garcelle asks Dorit why she reposted a post that Teddi posted. That sounded funny. When she had said earlier that she wasn't friends with Teddi. And Dorit's like, "Well, Teddi tagged me, so I just reposted it." Which I was like, oh, for f***ing sakes. Are you kidding me? Now you're going to go after her for reposting a post that the Nat posted? I guess it was a video of all of them on stage with John Cougar Mellencamp. Dorit's like, "I never said I wasn't friends with Teddi. I just said we weren't close."
And then the producers
Which is exactly what she
came
said.
in.
Yeah.
Exactly, and backed her up. That's when Garcelle, like when she came
that
out.
That fell so flat.
Right. When Garcelle said, "Here I come again," right? So she interjected on the one dinner and it fell flat. You're right, because she was wrong. She misrepresented the situation big time.
Yeah, it's so petty. Who cares that she reposted a post that she was tagged in? Is that really the only thing you got? Like, Is that what you got?
As bad,
it was petty.
Bad as Kyle is coming off this season, Garcelle, considering she wasn't even in episode 2.
She's got a real boner for Dorit.
She really does. And everything else, Garcelle is like so pleasant. She's interesting to watch. But when she engages with Dorit, I'm just saying, it's off-putting.
Well, it's funny because Dorit does not engage with her unless Garcelle engages with Dorit, and usually it's Garcelle coming after her.
Yeah, it's just
and so she's like defending herself. Other than that, like she doesn't
really want anything to do with Garcelle.
I don't think she's just not engaging. Whether she knows Garcelle doesn't like her, they don't like each other. So what's so funny too is Garcelle is always bashing on Teddi. She calls her a gnat. That they all just put up with her because she's Kyle's friend. I'm like, why do you care? Other than the fact that you wanted to like get Dorit somehow. Nobody likes Teddi.
I like Teddi. She was
You do not like Teddi.
She was a little
by
boring.
the way, now that...
I liked her dad, that's why. I love Mr. Miller.
Now that Teddi has cheated on Edwin, I guess she's living with Kyle.
Uh-oh.
I did not say... No, I don't think it's that.
Is what's her name jealous now?
I doubt
Is Morgan
it.
jealous?
Of Teddi? I doubt it.
Oh, I would tell you right now, I would so take Teddi out to dinner over Morgan. Teddi doesn't have any tattoos on her face. Morgan looks crazy.
Yeah.
And she's too young for me.
Yeah.
She's like a baby. I wouldn't take her out to dinner. Ugh. Except maybe as like to mentor her in her career in IT.
Well, she's a singer, so.
But what if she was like, "Hey, I want something to fall back on."
Yeah.
Then I'd be like, "Okay, let's go out." Other than that.
Sutton decides to do her toast now, and she has them all stand up. And while she gives her speech on sisterhood and true friendship, and she ties all their hands together with this ribbon, and she tells them that they're all sisters forever, I was like, yeah, okay. No. I believe that. Just give it 5 minutes. And it was so funny. Bose at her talking head was like, what kind of like, what does she call it? It's like a spell. incarnation. Is that the word?
Incantation.
Incantation is this.
No, she's like, are we all getting married? Or something like that, yeah.
She's funny. The next day, they all get on the Sprinter van. It's time to leave. Did you clock Sutton holding that big bottle of vodka? And she was pouring herself a drink. And I was like, is it morning?
It was, yeah.
You would think. You check out of a hotel in the morning, right?
Maybe she's just taking a bit of hair of the dog. Who knows?
I don't know, but she had a full big bottle of vodka, then you see her, and a glass of orange juice, and you see her pouring it in, and I was like, oh, wow.
Well, she needed the orange juice to make the vodka look orange.
Grapefruit. Sorry, she drinks grapefruit juice. She tells them that last night she feels like they all mocked her speech. And
they did.
They were like, she was like, I can't read. Like, she's like doing what I do when I don't have my reading glasses on.
She was a mess. They were also picking on her. They wouldn't let her start. They were teasing her.
Well, she made them stand up, and she made it like this big to-do.
She kind of opened herself up to ridicule at that point. She did.
I get what she was trying to do. And they all apologized because they're like, we didn't think you were being serious.
I didn't think she'd be serious either.
And then she proceeds to point out how Erika was whispering something about Dorit to Kyle, and that everybody could hear it, and that it was kind of mean girlish. And Erika's like, well, I was just saying what you were thinking. I was like,
I love you, Erika.
I know. And Dorit's like, well, I don't remember what I said about Teddi because I was dealing with Kyle. And Kyle's like, well, this isn't about Teddi. It's about us being open and honest and all that. And Erika's like, it was about my offhanded comment to Kyle. Whatever. And Sutton starts yelling, it's not about Teddi. And Dorit...
it's kind of started spiraling.
Right. I was like, I'm so confused.
Did someone throw a match on the ground? He says,
Dorit starts yelling back at her. She's like, I know what it's about. I was just trying to explain.
No,
and it's like,
I
wait a minute.
Rewound it, watched it again, and I was no less lost as to how that dust storm kicked up like that.
I don't know. I don't know if Dorit was just going to go into like one of her long diatribes, or she just didn't understand that Sutton was actually saying what you did.
When Sutton started putting her hand up, started like pushing back. Everyone got pissed. It was crazy, dude.
It was, and.
It was nuts.
Sutton's like, I was just trying to bring the group together. I'm not getting my point across. And Garcelle, who's actually the voice of reason here, explains the point of the speech was that we can say what we're thinking and tell the other person what we're thinking. We're going to be honest with each other as kind of like a safe space, I guess.
And that's why Garcelle is in the road trip with me.
Yeah.
Because road trip Garcelle's cool.
Yeah. Dorit tells Sutton, okay, since we're being honest, don't yell at me because when you get mad and I return your tone, and of course this pisses Sutton off and she starts yelling. I was like, so much for being open and honest without repercussions because here Dorit's like, okay, I'm going to be honest with you. And Sutton gets pissed at her. So they arrive to the airplane or to the airport. And then they're sitting there and Sutton looks at Dorit. She's like, go. Yeah. And so she gets up. I was like, also, why were they flying home on a private jet if they drove all the way down there? How long of a drive is it that you have to have a flight home?
I sense some editing happening.
Yeah, I wonder if they flew down and, or they just weren't going to drive home. I don't know. But next week it looks like the gang up on Dorit continues. And Dorit calls Camille a see you next Tuesday.
Yeah, I saw that.
I was like, uh-oh.
Someone's about to get their weave ripped out of their head now.
Yeah.
Dang.
Anyways, that's all we have for the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. So we will talk to you guys next week. Bye.
Take care, everyone.